What's up and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about my 2026 reading intentions. I wrote them out on my computer. I have roughly 4 intentions, goals, whatever we want to call it, for my reading year this year. I really want to focus on reading with intention and having a deeper understanding of the works that I'm reading. I'm really focusing on quality this year over quantity, and I have like a little mini priority TBR of a list of books that I must read this year, that if I haven't finished this year 2026 having read those books, I will be mad at myself. And I'm prioritizing these authors, these books, these works, because they're fundamental and that I'm really excited for them. Some of them I've had on my physical TBR for quite literally years at this point, so I need to get on to them because my physical TBR is kind of getting out of hand a little bit. Let's get into it. My first reading intention is my reading goal for the year. I have in previous years always set it at 50 books. Throughout the years it's changed. I think one year I read 76, one year I read like 60-ish books. Last year I didn't reach my goal. I read 36 books, but I'm okay with it. The year before that I think I was off by 3 or 5 books as well. So I have decided to lower my reading goal by half, and my goal this year would be to read 25 books. It's something that's very doable, very reachable. Most years, if not every year, I read more than 25, so I know that I will reach this goal. I don't want to stress myself out trying to reach a number. Like I said, I want to prioritize quality over quantity, and I really want to prioritize especially reading from my shelf, reading the books that on my shelf that I haven't read, which leads me into my second intention for the year, which is that I'm putting myself on a book buying ban from January all the way to June. So for the first half of the year, I'm basically not going to be buying any new releases or any books, really, even used books. So I'm not going to be book shopping for 6 months. I want to read the books that I have. I want to read the books that are on my shelf. I want to read the books that I have bought previously. I have some books that I bought like 4 or 5 years ago that I haven't read yet. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So this year is about book buying ban for the first half and reading what I have. And if I'm not interested by anything that's on my shelf, then like pick up your Kindle, pick up Libby, pick up, but less, buying books just to buy books, just that hobby and that feeling. It's so euphoric to buy books. I love the entire experience of going to a coffee shop and like buying books, but it's just like too much. Feel free to join me if you'd like, if you have a lot of books as well, like a little bit over 100 books on your TBR. I think being more intentional even with just your buying, maybe limit yourself to 1 or 2 books a month or something, could really help you get through that physical TBR. My third intention is to write a review for every single book I read. I am going back to my roots. I did this like roughly 2 years ago, where I wrote a book review for every single book I read, even as like a short little quick summary or a quick little like few words, just so I don't forget what books are about, and so that I also don't forget my feelings about the books that I read. I think oftentimes I try to like kind of remember things that I've read like 3 months back, and it's kind of rough and it's kind of like not as clear in my head because I didn't take notes anywhere about how I felt about the book. I'm like, oh, I know it was good, but I can't quite put my finger on why this one was good particularly. So even just like taking the time to write a review out every single month, on every single book that I read. As soon as I finish it, I want to write my review. I used to do this like 2 years ago, I think. If you go back on my Goodreads, like pretty much every single book I read that year, I reviewed, even if it's a 1 word or 1 sentence, like, and then you go back maybe in time and like add more if you want, but just taking the time to review books, rate them, and be more proactive in my reading and my analysis and reviews of books post reading. That's a big priority of mine. Alongside this, it's kind of like another intention. I didn't write this one, but it's more of like a YouTube intention. I want to be more active on YouTube. I want to post every single month. I want to actively like build a community where we could talk about literature together, whether it be in the comments, whether it be like maybe later on creating some sort of third space or second space outside of YouTube, like a Discord where we could all like join together and read books together. I feel like that would be fun. Like I like to join other YouTubers like Patreons and Discords and book clubs, because there's a lot of people there to you know, share ideas of literature with. I love reading other people's comments as well. Like I read my comments, but I also love reading other YouTubers' comments, because there's gems out there. There's people who are like so beautiful in the way they analyze and like review books. Yeah, I'd like to share that with you guys and like kind of have like build this community here. And I think I can only do that if I show up for said community more often. So that's definitely one of my biggest goals for 2026, is to be active on my YouTube channel. And like, especially with monthly reading, I feel like I'm not someone who reads like maybe like 10 or 15 books a month. And I think that's what like kind of stopped me and like paused me from doing monthly wrap-ups, because I feel like some months I read 2 books and some months I read 8. So it's like, it's very uneven, and I feel like who wants to sit and watch a monthly wrap-up of like 2 books or like 4 books? But then again, I'm like, maybe there is someone out there. And then those are basically my reading intentions for the year. Really going on kind of like a low buy in terms of books, and like really honing in and focusing on what I have. Sorry about that, it's my laptop. And now I have my priority TBR for the year. I have quite a few books here. I also have like the rest of like my physical TBR that I would like to focus on, but these are the books that I'm like, if you haven't read this by December 31st, 2026, we are having problems. Like you have to have this on your belt, like under my belt, you know? So I'm gonna start with the first one, which is so embarrassing that I haven't read this, but it's fine. You know, books find you in the time that you need them to find you. And sometimes you just don't read them when you're supposed to read them. But I Know Why the Cage Bird Sings by Maya Angelou. I'm sorry that I haven't read this. Maya Angelou, what a woman, what a person, what a human being. And the fact that I haven't read her autobiography, one of the best-selling autobiographies like ever, probably, most likely. One of those that like you say the name and people know exactly what you're talking about, regardless if they've read it, regardless of if they know Maya Angelou, they know this book, or you've seen the cover, you've heard the name. It's so iconic, it's so special, and I want to know why, and I want to read this. And I love autobiographies. You can see probably a few of them here. It goes on to the next shelf, but I love reading autobiographies. I feel like it's one of those things, one of those genres that it's nonfiction that I just absolutely adore. Like Viola Davis's, Will Smith's autobiography, Michelle Obama's is like the classic one. If you haven't read that, that's crazy. Kerry Washington just came out with one like 2 years ago. Read that on audiobook, loved it. Jeanette McCurdy's I'm Glad My Mom Died. I love an autobiography, so this is just right up my alley. Can't wait to get my teeth in it, sink it, and really tore this copy up, because I bought it brand new, so it's like too pristine. That spine needs to be cracked, and these pages will be annotated. Next up, I have Are Prisons Obsolete by Angela Y. Davis. I'm so excited for this. It's just a very short nonfiction novel about prisons, and obviously the highly Black population of incarcerated folks in the United States. It's one of those nonfiction books that is kind of like introductory to prisons and things such as incarcerations that are maybe more misunderstood. I obviously am really excited about the fact that this was written by a Black woman, a Black American woman, so we get that different perspective. And yeah, I can't wait to get my hands, not my hands, I have my hands on it, but I can't wait to read this. I've had this for quite a bit. Like I bought this quite a while ago. I still have literally the store's bookmark. Next book I want to read is also one that I'm like, I can't believe I haven't read this. I love this book. Like I don't love this book, I haven't read it yet. I love this author. I've read other works by this author, such as Animal Farm and Why I Write. Why I Write was actually in my favorites of last year, and I think Animal Farm was in my favorites of the previous year. Or was it the same year? I don't know. But George Orwell is actually a master of his craft, and I don't think we talk about him enough, and I can't believe that I haven't read 1984. I have this really cool Collins Classics editions with the cameras, and in the back, the tagline, Big Brother is watching you. I roughly know what this is about. Obviously, I think everyone does. I want to read it this year because I think it's getting more and more relevant than ever to talk about being watched, being surveilled, about technology just taking over a little bit of over humanity. It almost feels like this book is more relevant than ever with the rise of AI and ChatGPT, etc., etc. I'm not sure if it quite ties into it because obviously I haven't read the book quite yet, but from what I've seen, what I've read in the back, I have a feeling that this will be right up my alley, that I will really like this, and I can't wait to read this. Like, I can't wait to read this, and the fact that I get to read it for the first time in my 20s, I think I'm gonna be able to grasp a lot out of it and like really like this. So I mean, I feel like I will like anything by George Orwell at this point because Animal Farm is one of my favorite books of all time, one of my favorite classics of all time, and Why I Write was basically the same for me. So excited for this. Another classic. I'm so sorry about the amount of classics in here. I just have found kind of my reading style, and despite me loving to read pretty much every genre, I do think that I lean more towards classics and literary fiction. That's like my bread and butter. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I love a romance, I love a fantasy, I love a romantasy. Mix those two together and like you are in for a great ride. But my primary genre and the genre that I find that I thrive the most in, like reading, and that I find that I get the most out of, classics, literary fiction. Those are my things. Like, and I'm really getting into nonfiction, which is, ooh, like 5 years ago I would have said that and I would have been like, you're lying. But there's a lot of great nonfiction out there, and I just love getting more educated and knowing more things about different various topics. Therefore, I read nonfiction now here and there. Crazy, I know. Next up is another like great classic, one of the greats. We've got Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. I'm sorry about all the glare, by the way. I'm like right in front of the window for maximum luminosity in this video. So this is the just Penguin Classics edition, and I've never read Jane Eyre. I've never read Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte, so I'm really excited about this one. It's about this orphaned girl who grows up and she has like quite a messy childhood, and she is known to be like quite a rebellious kind of character. I know a lot of people identify themselves and see themselves in Jane Eyre, and I think in that regard she kind of reminds me a little bit of Emma from Jane Austen. I think it was kind of written around the same time. I don't want to lie here, but I think Jane Austen and the Bronte sisters are kind of became writers around the same time. I can't wait to get my like eyes in this and like kind of understand why this novel in particular is kind of like the revered and kind of more popular novel of the Bronte sisters. I also own Villette by Anne Bronte, and I'd love to get that in under my belt this year if I can, but I'm prioritizing Miss Jane Eyre for the first you know, Bronte book. I also have, since we're here, I have a book by all the sisters, but I also have Wuthering Heights, and I feel like it's only right that I get this in possibly before Valentine's Day so I can go watch the movie and compare and contrast. I see a lot of outrage about the casting for that, and I have to agree. I did start it last year. I got to chapter 11. I wasn't in the mood for a classic at the time, so I had put it down. So I would have to restart, definitely, and just head back in it from scratch. But I'm excited to give it a fair shot. Miss Emily Bronte, and I have the classic, like beautiful Penguin deluxe edition. So it goes like, it kind of wraps around all around, has a really cool spine. And yeah, I just hate the deckled edges, but that's fine. That's fine. I'm gonna finish my nonfiction. The last nonfiction that I absolutely need to read this year, like it's a non-negotiable, is The 100 Years War on Palestine, a history of settler colonialism and resistance from 1917 to 2017 by Rashid Khalidi. I am reading this year. It's very important. I think we all are aware about what's been going on for quite literally years. But how much it's escalated since 2023 is heartbreaking to watch, and I advise you to read about it, to not close your eyes, to use your platforms, try to share on your Instagram story. If you have TikTok, share on TikTok. Platform Palestinian authors, read Palestinian authors, listen to Palestinian journalists, and as much as possible, and try to educate yourself. This is not something that I'm probably gonna read in one sitting. I think I'm gonna start it. It's pretty dense, it's pretty heavy, and there's a lot of information. So what I'm gonna do is probably read it over a course of a few months, and I want to make sure that I get as much information out of this one and out of the subsequent ones that I will be buying, and continue to inform myself and educate myself about what's going on. And yes, so this is the first one I'm starting, and I'm really excited. Next one is kind of in the same train or vein as 1984. It's another one that like has always been relevant and continues to gain relevance over time, and it is The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. I know there was an autobiography that was published quite literally the last month of 2025 covering her life story, and it looks beautiful. It's gigantic, and like I said, I love an autobiography, so I would love to read that, but I want to dive into her fictional work first, just so I know a little bit about her writing and like what, you know, she was trying to say, and then maybe dive into more of her life. So definitely want to read The Handmaid's Tale. One of my coworkers is reading it and she is adoring it, and she showed me like a couple of her annotations, and it looks so good. It just looks like something that I would really enjoy. This is definitely something I'm going to be prioritizing, like probably this month or next month. Next up is an author spotlight. If you don't know, now you know, but I am a big Toni Morrison fan. Always have been, always will be. And this year I want to hone in and try to read all of her work that I own on physical, and then after my book buying ban of June, probably buy the rest of her work and read that as well. I want this to be my Morrison year, basically. I've read The Bluest Eye, Beloved, Jazz, and now I'm trying to get into more Morrison. I'm trying to catch them all like Pokemons, you know? I have Paradise, and I also have Song of Solomon, both in these like beautiful, like the classic like Morrison covers and editions. This one I thrifted, so it's like a really big massive paperback for some reason. These are more like the regular size Morrisons with those spines, but regardless, I actually really like that it's so big and it has so much margin space, because I'm gonna be annotating the hell out of this. I think this is part of the trilogy that is Beloved, Jazz, and I think Paradise is the last one, and Song of Solomon is just a standalone, stands on her own self, with her own self. Can't really tell you what these are about because I go into my Morrisons quite literally blind every single time, and that's the best way to go into a Morrison. Don't Google it, don't look into anything, just pick one that looks attractive to your eye. If you don't know where to start, just pick one and go into it blind. You will be left speechless by her greatness. She is the first Black woman to have won a Nobel Prize for a reason. She is relevant to this day to readers and writers for a reason. I don't know why I'm going on a like spiel, like a little tangent about Toni Morrison, but I think she's just one of the greats. She's good at, you know what I'm saying? Like the pen is different. The pen is different. I also have Love by Toni Morrison, but it's like really low in my stack of books, so I'm not taking that out. But Love is also one that I'm gonna get my eyes on this year. And last but not least, I have the classic of classics of the dark academia realm of the internet. If people talk about dark academia, they can't seem to not mention The Secret History by Donna Tartt. I have this beautiful edition, the UK edition, which is the only good edition of this book. It's the only right one. I had this, no joke, for like 3+ years. I understand why I haven't read it yet. I know this is like best read in like fall winter months, so like will I read it this month? Maybe next month, we don't know. Maybe I'll save it for the fall. I don't know. I'm scared that if I save it for the fall, I'm not gonna read it. But it's like the quintessential dark academia book. I have to read it, and it's one of my friend's like favorite books, and she read A Little Life. She hasn't finished it yet, but she read A Little Life because she knew it was one of my favorite books, so I feel like it's only right for me to just read this for her as well. But also, I really want to read this. I just don't know why I haven't. So this was it for my book reflections of 2026. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that you guys are going to keep me accountable. Remember what I said in here. Please call me out if I don't, post consistently, if I don't post wrap-ups, if I'm not reading anything from said list that I just made. And please let me know if there's any book reflections that you have this year. I would love to add to my list. Your reading goals for the year. If you do reading goals, if you don't, tell me why. I would love to. I think it's so fun when people like put their Goodreads like reading goals as like one book. I'm like, you're so cool. You're so cool. You said one is enough, like, period. It's always those people that they put one and then they read like 75. I'm like, I'm a fan of you. Don't forget to let me know any content that you would like to see from me in the comments, and let me know what you've been reading and what you're up to. And I will see you guys in my next video very, very soon.